Well, Ed Seykota was really an unusual interview. First of all, I got to Seykota. I never had heard of Seykota. The reason I found him was I had done an interview with Michael Marcus, spent the whole day, actually night and day with Michael. And Michael had been very reluctant to do the interview. He was a very private guy. But finally, at the end of this whole day of talking to him, he pushes back the chair after dinner and he says, you know, this wasn't bad. This was kind of a cathartic experience. And he said, you know, you should speak to Ed Seykota. And my response was, who's Ed Seykota? And he said, Ed Seykota is the best trader that I know. And this is coming from a guy who I know turned $30,000 into $80 million. So, of course, I was interested. He got Ed on the phone. Ed was in Tahoe at the time. And I was supposed to fly out from California to back to New York, but I changed my flight and I went out to Tahoe to interview Seykota. So I had said Seykota, well, I can change my flights and we could do the interview. I can do it in a few hours, I'm sure. And he said, well, if you think so, kind of skeptically. Anyway, he was right. I ended up spending the night and into the next day. The thing about Seykota was he had all of these interesting slants and, maybe the classic line out of that chapter, certainly for me, and I think I might have titled the chapter with that line, was everybody gets what they want out of the market. And that's a pretty provocative statement, because what that leads to is the question which I immediately asked, you mean that people who lose want to lose? Which he answered by saying everybody gets what they want out of the market. He did elaborate and did in fact give examples of how people self-sabotage and why they might. But that's a real interesting slant. So the psychological side of trading, I think, was hit very well in that particular chapter.